What's up? It is the Stan and Neil Show for a Tuesday. Great to have you with us here live on Twitch. Thankful to have you guys with us. Reminder, you can get the show on Twitch, plenty of other places, including YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So please like us and subscribe wherever you get them. And if you're on Twitch, don't forget, you can participate in the chat. We'll shout you out if you make a pithy comment or have a great question. One of the advantages of being here on Twitch. Neil, tell the people more subscriber details, please.
Now, did you say pissy or pithy?
Pithy, pithy.
Ooh, that's a big word. Tell me what that means.
That means it has some substance to it. It has some profound elements to the question.
All right. I'm trying to get the because when you subscribe, you get 3 levels: rookie, all pro, Hall of Famer.
Yes.
And I like this chat aspect, but I can't figure out how to pull it up on my other computer right now. I'm getting me and Robert Flores from 4 days ago. Had an interesting thing last night, Stan. I want to share with you.
All right. So let me handle the business first. You can become a subscriber. There's 3 different levels: rookie, and then all pro, and then Hall of Famer.
Didn't I just say that?
Did you just say that?
I did just say that.
Okay, all right. This show's off to a great start.
I didn't know. Maybe I thought maybe my mic wasn't working.
It's going to be fabulous.
So college basketball.
You said
college basketball started.
Tell me tell me the story.
So because my wife said, you know what, you guys have so many stories, you know, instead of just recapping stuff, you got to tell some stories. So I said, I don't know if I want to tell this.
I think so too.
Yeah. And so here's what happened. Okay. I'm getting a little echo though, just for our producer knows that I'm getting a little echo back. Okay. So I get a text and it's from my buddy in Hawaii. And it says HPU, and HPU is the school that I started at in 1985 as a sports information director, and I worked for Hawaii Pacific University for 15 years until I got the ESPN gig. I was doing double duty in Hawaii, and so I wrote him back, question marks. I didn't know anything, HPU. Well, Hawaii Pacific went to Boise State last night. This is a Division II school. And won on the Broncos home court, shocked them. Okay. So that's part of the story. So now, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And, I had to go to the library stand to watch the games because of this YouTube blackout. And I checked out a lot of books. And in fact, they told me I couldn't read anymore. So I come home. They cut me off from reading. What kind of country is this?
Sir, you've read too much. We're worried about you.
I was, what I think I was doing? I was speed reading.
Okay. Yeah.
so anyhow, I start texting my friend Jared, and I wrote, and the coach of Boise State is a friend, great guy. His name's Leon Rice, fabulous guy, but he was on the short end against Hawaii Pacific, a game that he shouldn't lose. And so I wrote to Jared. I said, "Well, that puts Coach behind the 8 ball for the tournament, 1 game in, because that's a bad." And I wrote, "That's a bad loss." Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm following you.
And then I sent it.
Okay.
You know who I sent it to? I sent it to Leon, the coach, not Jared, my friend.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. You know how you sometimes physiologically you get you start to, you feel yourself get warm.
Yep.
Oh, and I was like, oh my God. And I struggled with it, and I woke up and I thought, you know what? I feel bad about this because of how much love and respect I have for Leon.
Okay.
And hopefully Leon understands that this was an honest mistake, because I wrote it right after I sent it. I said, "Oh my God, coach, that wasn't meant for you. I'm mortified." And so I woke, so I woke up, kind of like, oh God, I can't believe I did that. I hope Leon's cool about it. Now I'm driving. I get a phone call. It's
Oh
from
boy.
Leon Rice,
Oh no.
and he says, Neil, Leon Rice, and I said, Coach, oh, I'm so sorry. He goes, Neil, I needed a good laugh after that loss, and your text provided it. And I share that story one just to show, friendship is so unquantifiable. It exists, and like you and my friendship, Stan. Like it's greater than quantifying it. At least to me, it is.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
and Leon being so cool to me changed from me being, all twisted about my mistake to come to realizing that Leon values my friendship as much as I value his. And I share this story because Boise State is going to the Maui Classic. So you
Yep.
folks listening in the 808 who are looking for a team to root for, I'm presenting you Boise State because they're coached by a hell of a guy. But congratulations to Hawaii Pacific for the big win. But Leon Rice is a hell of a guy and a hell of a coach. Just ran into a buzzsaw last night. So that's my story I wanted to share.
Hey, I got enough stuff to talk about too. The New Orleans Privateers, University of New Orleans. They go
Monty
on,
Tao used to coach him.
Yeah, so they're I saw them ranked number 296 in the country among Division One programs. They go on the road at TCU and they win 78-74.
They beat Jamie Dixon at TCU.
Yeah, and you know who's on the coaching staff at New Orleans? Master
Who?
P. Percy
Really?
Miller. Master P. Yeah, I'm not sure what his official, but he may be the general manager. But he's affiliated with New Orleans basketball, and good start to the season for them. They just did the versus against No Limit and Cash Money. He's a president of basketball operations, so he's kind of like the GM in the new NIL era. So he's president of basketball operations, and it's gotten off to a great start. He took the job in February, so he's responsible for recruiting, player development, and culture building alongside head coach Stacey Hollowell. So off to a good start there.
That's really cool, man. And
Yeah.
there you go. Okay, I found the Stan and Neil show.
All right.
On the computer.
So congratulations to Hawaii Pacific and to the University of New Orleans for big wins to start their college basketball seasons.
There you go. We got a lot of college basketball. Arizona, Tommy Lloyd beat Florida, reigning champion last night too.
Yeah,
I mean, we got so much sports going on.
Yep.
I mean, it's Tuesday after the World Series. The World Series buzz is still real because that was fabulous.
Before we move on from Arizona, did you see that kid Koa Pete for Arizona?
Oh yeah, he had 30.
Oh, whew. And a couple of dunks that made you say, like Master P.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So we're moving on. Arizona with the win to open the season.
Yeah.
And so World Series.
Oh, I mean, well, here's my question.
Yep.
Football is king. What's second, NBA or Major League Baseball?
What's your criteria?
What people like to watch more?
What people are we talking about?
In a championship setting.
Listen, baseball has a romance about it that is nostalgic for Americans, I think. And when you have a series that goes 7 games, you get people, you pick up people along the way. And when you have an entire country like Toronto, and you have one of the biggest media markets in the country in Los Angeles in that World Series, and you have certified star power, Ohtani, Vlad Guerrero Jr., the baseball numbers are gonna be really, really good. I just don't think that at this point baseball is in the national consciousness among younger demographics, which is what the advertisers crave, the way the NBA is, because NBA stars are more marketable, more accessible, I think, for the average young viewer. And the NBA game moves so quickly, it's good for attention spans of younger audiences. I think that sometimes what it comes down to, because I mean, you talk to a kid about watching a full baseball game if they're not into baseball. You know what I mean? But I think for older viewers, I think it's baseball. But I think there's a divide there. I think the younger kids, it's NBA. Older people, it's baseball.
Yeah, it's interesting because Game 7, Oklahoma City, Indiana, 16-17 million. Game 7, World Series, 26-27 million.
Yeah, who's in the NBA Finals? So it was Indiana and
OKC.
And OKC. Okay, so you have to factor that in. Okay, give me a Lakers Knicks final and watch what happens. Give me a Lakers Knicks 7-game series and watch what happens. So look, I don't. I am checked out on the whole. What's bigger? What's better? That whole thing. Like, that doesn't matter to me. If I enjoy it, I don't care if everybody else is watching or if I'm the only one watching. If I enjoy it, you know what I mean. It's kind of something I wanted to talk about with the NFL too, as we delve into the show here with people talking about, well, we don't know who's good yet. We don't know who's good yet. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of talking about that. Like, this season hasn't produced a really good team. We don't know who's good yet. But anyway, yeah. So I don't. Look, I think it was a great series. I mean, it was a fantastic series, and it had drama right up until the very last play. And in any kind of sporting event, especially one that's televised, because I've always heard 4 games, you lose money. 5 games, you break even. 6 games, you make a modest profit. 7 games, you go to the bank. So Fox went to the bank with baseball.
I don't know that I've ever witnessed a championship series in any sport where one team was so close on so many occasions to winning and lost and had their hearts ripped out in the end than Toronto.
Yeah. I had a post on my X account showing how close that play was at the plate with Connor Falefa and Will Smith's foot on the plate. I mean, it's literally a couple of inches. And that decided the World Series in Game 7, a season's worth of work and a championship, and it came down to a couple of inches of one guy's cleats on the plate versus another guy's cleats on the plate. And like you said, okay, think about all the things that had to happen. If he takes a slightly bigger lead off third base, he's in there easily on that play, okay? But he didn't take up a bigger lead off third base because of the way Game 6 ended when they got doubled up, okay? So you had that, okay? Then Paez comes in as a defensive substitution, okay? And he makes an incredible catch, cold off the bench. And I mean, that play to decide a championship, I mean, that's another play there. And then what was the other? Rojas, Miguel Rojas, okay? He looked around at Dodger Stadium at the end of Game 5 because he said this was going to be it. He said during the NLCS that he had given everything he had in 36 and he was done, right? So he just kind of looked around Dodger Stadium after Game 5 and just kind of took it all in like, hey, man, we may go to Toronto and lose, and this is it. This is what I want to remember, okay? And he said he didn't feel like he was going to be a big contributor, but his wife told him, you're going to hit a home run. And his wife said, just stay locked in because you're going to come up and you're going to hit a home run. He's like, yeah, babe, okay. I might not even play. And so then Game 7, Dave Roberts plugs him into the lineup, and he hits a home run.
Men smart, women smarter.
And I feel like I'm missing something else. What else? There was something else, like all the things the Dodgers needed to happen to come back and win that.
I mean, the Blue Jays had, I think, 3 innings in a row, a leadoff double, nobody out, and were unable to score the man.
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, they had the ball that wedged in the outfield underneath, and if the guy doesn't lift his hands, the rules are if he plays it, then the ball's live. If he lifts the hands, if the ball's unplayable, it becomes a ground rule double, kept a run from scoring. Now, what that run would have meant who knows? But still, you want runs whenever you can take them. There's just it was just fat. Friday and Saturday. My wife's not a sports fan, and she was glued watching it. We were supposed to go to a Halloween party, and we're like, yeah, we're exhausted after watching this game. We're not going.
Yeah, the baseball in the postseason in a close game in like a game 7 situation. I mean, you're literally hanging on every pitch
Yeah,
because one mistake can change the game in a way that's inalterable afterwards. And so, yeah, there's a certain romance to baseball, and I think the way the Dodgers won it was so many contributions from so many people. And I mean, Dave Roberts, man, he made all the right calls, beginning with putting Rojas in the lineup, deciding to go with Otani early, okay, and then pulling him when he felt like it was time, and then not going to any of his relievers. He went to all starting pitchers to finish that out,
yep.
okay, and then he goes to Yamamoto for the final. Was it 2.5 innings?
Rubber arm.
Yeah, I mean, so Yamamoto said after the game, he said he didn't expect that he was going to pitch today. Dave Roberts said, "I'm glad I didn't know that." Because he's like, hey man, I need that arm one more time. But it's just, people can talk about the salaries, and yeah, look, the Dodgers spent a lot of money. Did it within the rules, spent a lot of money, but those players all made critical plays at moments that decided the series.
Yeah, I believe the Yankees spent the second most amount of money, and they weren't in the World Series. And we had Rick Sutcliffe on a while back before the series started, and he said Dave Roberts is the new Mr. October when you look at his resume of work at this time of year, and that's before
Yep.
the Dodgers won the series again.
Yeah, and look, with that payroll comes the pressure that you have to win. Okay, you have to win, and I don't think it takes the joy out of it once you do it, but I think it can sap some of the joy out of trying to do it because it's almost like we have to do this. We have to do it. Like it becomes a responsibility to win when for other teams it's a goal, it's an objective. But when you have the payroll that the Dodgers have, it's a responsibility. You have to do it. And if you don't do it, everybody says you failed. Like is anybody saying the Milwaukee Brewers failed, even though they got swept?
Yeah.
Okay, in
Good
the
point.
NLCS, But if the Dodgers, if Connor Follett is safe and the game's over, the Dodgers failed. Okay, and they came that close to failing, but instead it ends in their second straight championship.
Third in 5 years, and yeah, and they're already writing a check out to Pat Riley to try and use the word three-peat.
Are they really?
I mean, I don't know if you have to.
Oh,
I don't know if you have to pay
I
Pat
thought you had
Riley
another
for
great
that.
story for me, man. I thought you.
Now, half of what I say is bullshit, but the Leon Rice story was real.
All right, I was going, hey, tell me about this Pat Riley story. Did Dave Roberts called it? How's that working out? All right, you want to talk about football?
Yeah, speaking of bullshit, Jerry Jones. Stop talking. Okay, you know who Jerry Jones is?
Who is he?
Jerry Jones is your dad who won't give up the keys and he shouldn't drive anymore. Okay? He is. Take the keys. I mean, just he's attention starved, power hungry, egotistical, out of touch with reality. Oh my God. Just,
So now,
Are you
referencing the quotes from that interview that he did with Stephen A. Smith?
just where he's like, hey, we got a big signing. We got a big signing coming. Your big signing plays for Green Bay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, look, he is.
I mean, just
he
like
is,
anywhere he said like, I like to steer some shit up.
Yeah,
I mean, how about steer a playoff win up?
yeah. I mean, I think that really rankles Cowboys fans because Cowboys.
I'm not
fans,
even a Cowboys fan, but
I think that really rankles them because they're in it to see the team win, not for the team to be, a marketing phenomenon.
Yeah.
But the problem for those fans is not understanding the economics of the NFL. Okay. So when I was in New Orleans, right before I left, I was at the NBC affiliate in New Orleans, and it looked like there was the beginnings of maybe the Saints trying to get out of New Orleans and go somewhere else. It just it felt like they were sort of laying the groundwork. Okay. And so fans were all up in arms like, hey, man, this team was terrible for years, and we bought tickets and we still went to the games and yada, yada, yada. Okay. And so I was working on a series about the economics of the NFL and how it's not about ticket sales. I mean, it is, because NFL franchises want every dollar they can get. Okay. But at the same time, it's not really about ticket sales. It's about revenue, like every other business. And so I wanted to go to Kansas City and talk about what the deal that the Chiefs had. So the Chiefs had a deal where they not only get all the revenue from Chiefs games, they get the revenue from everything at Arrowhead, just to keep them happy. So tractor pull at Arrowhead, Chiefs get all the money. Taylor Swift concert at Arrowhead, Chiefs get all the money. I don't know if it's still that way. This was a while. It was like 2000. Okay. The Ravens got that deal to break people's hearts in Cleveland and moved to Baltimore, and they got a stadium built for them for free. It was just, hey, look, no cost to you. Here's a stadium. You get all the revenue. Okay. Jerry Jones in Dallas at his stadium, AT&T Stadium, he has double-decker suites around the whole stadium because, again, I don't know if it's still this way, but NFL owners keep 60% of ticket sales. This is the way it used to be. These numbers may have changed. 60%, 60-40 split with the road team for ticket sales. But suite revenue belongs all to the home team. So you want as many people in suites as you possibly can if you're the home owner, right? So he's got suites, double-decker suites all around. Okay. Again, these are numbers from the last time I researched this. Between the 45 and the 45 at AT&T Stadium, it's the Founders Club, okay? And at one point, the personal seat license, before you even buy tickets, you know how personal seat licenses work, right?
Yeah.
$150,000 for the personal seat license. And if you don't have it, they'll finance you at 8.9%. Okay, it's like buying a house for 2 football tickets. So, when you start looking at the amount of revenue involved, then you realize that, look, I'm sure he wants to win. I'm sure he would love to lift the Lombardi Trophy again. But having all that revenue sure makes it easier when you don't. But not for the fans, because they don't have the revenue. So there's my screed on that.
Yeah, but so he's in the Hall of Fame because of his business planning and revenue. TV deals skyrocketed. Jerry Jones, great businessman. But you make my point. You're making so much money, and yet you want to hold a hard line on a guy who's arguably one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and you let him go. Now you've got a quarterback that's really good, an offense that's pretty good, a coach who's never been a head coach because you don't want to pay the coach, right. And you've got a defense that's getting boat raced because you let the best guy go. So it's genius. Maybe it's genius as an owner, but not as a general manager. But then that doesn't speak to the coaching. Hiring, Schottenheimer. I'm sure he's a great guy. He comes from good stock, but he's a first-year head coach.
But Neil, think about how he got us. What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about it because Jeff put it in the rundown. Otherwise, I'd never talk about the Cowboys again.
No, I mean, look, It's almost like WWE. You know what I mean? If he's the heel, that's fine. If he's the hero, that's fine. He just wants to be talked about. He wants to be in the
Well, that's
conversation.
it. That's
and,
what
and,
I
and he
said.
said as much. Now it's really it's really frustrating for Cowboys fans because they just want a winning team. Because Jerry doesn't pass out any of the money to the fans for their loyalty. You know what I mean? They have to pay to be a part of the situation with the Cowboys. So, you know, I think if he hired a football guy to run the situation, you know, Dallas is an appealing place to play if you're a free agent, if they could just win. You know, because you wear that star in your helmet, it's great for marketing, especially in the Metroplex. I mean, you're the man in the Metroplex if you play for the Cowboys. I mean, I talked to Darren Woodson about that. I said when he first started working at ESPN, I said, Darren, where do you live? He said, Dallas. Why would I ever move? I played 13 years for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
He was a winner.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you win there, you can get free agents to come there because of the marquee stature of what it means to be a Cowboy. I mean, Dak Prescott's a really, really good player. Okay. But put Dak Prescott on the Cardinals, and he doesn't have nearly the marquee value that he has as a quarterback of the Cowboys. It's one of the most prestigious positions in sports. And so,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep. Put
Jerry
Jacoby
Jones
Brissett on the Cardinals, and he beats the Cowboys because they stink.
At their place.
Yeah.
So, but Dallas did go out and get Quentin Williams today to help with their defense. But I don't know if that's going to be enough.
No, they're done, and we're not talking about them again.
It was fun talking about it while it lasted, though. But no, I mean, look, I think NFL owners, it's as close as we come to royalty in the United States in terms of their wealth and power.
Take his car keys.
What are they now?
Let's talk about your favorite. Let's talk about your favorite city's football team. Okay, let's talk about your favorite city's football team. That would be Seattle.
Hey, let me tell you something. And Neil only says that because I've been to Seattle twice. Both times got my heart broken there for Saints playoff games, and didn't really get to enjoy the city the way I wanted to. Still haven't seen Jimi Hendrix. Still haven't seen Pikes Peak. Still haven't seen the Fish Market. Still haven't seen the Space Needle. Pikes Peak is Seattle too, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. Sounds good to me.
I haven't seen any of that.
Pike Street. It's Pike Street Market. Yeah, that's what it is.
Where's Pikes Peak? Is that something different? That's a mountain or something somewhere? I don't know.
I can't.
Whatever. I didn't see any of it. All I saw was a whole bunch of people at restaurants. I went to Seahawks, and I'm like, I can't deal with this. I'm going back to LA. So I just left. You know, they was excited. They were excited. They won a playoff game. I can't blame them, but you know, I wasn't feeling like joining their party.
Yeah.
But no. This year's Seahawks, man, I tell you, they look really, really good.
They 4-0 on the road this season, 3-2 in conference. They're in the NFC West, which has got to be the toughest conference in the NFL. It's the only conference that's got 3 teams with 6 wins. No other conference has more than 2 teams with at least 6 wins.
I think you mean division there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Division. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
They're 3-2 in conference, but they're okay. Yep. Sam Darnold, just after that last game, went from MVP odds 60-1 to 18-1.
Yeah, what a great story he is, right?
Yeah, unless you're a Jets fan.
Yes, I mean system matters in the NFL. Coaching matters in the NFL, particularly with quarterbacks. You know, Sam Darnold, we're seeing that. We saw it with Baker Mayfield. Who else? Seems like there's one other guy, but those two in particular, you know, kind of bounced around. I don't know how they didn't see it in Cleveland and stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, Darnold was in Carolina too, wasn't he?
Yep. And then he went to the 49ers. And so a lot of people think that time with Kyle Shanahan helped him reclaim things.
You know, his night, though, was overshadowed by Jalen Daniels' nightmare.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, it wasn't Theismann-esque, but it made you think of Theismann.
Okay, so where do you come down on that? Okay, so essentially, I've seen people arguing the game was over.
Yeah.
Essentially, okay, but but you're still playing. You're still sending your offense out on the field. You can't say, okay, well, the game's over, mercy rule, we're checking out. Okay, but do you take him out? Do you take Jaden Daniels out in that situation?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because he's been out, so you kind of want him to get reps and get in a rhythm and all that. But he's also, I was at the Heisman ceremony when he won.
Yep.
He is beyond lean. He is not. He is. It would take about three of him to build one Josh Allen. Okay, that's how lean he is.
Okay.
And that's showing that that he's getting busted up this season, but he played last season too, and took him to the league championship game.
Yep.
So, and then I don't know how much time was left when he got hurt, but I don't know. Coaches, listen, the Broncos scored 33 in the fourth quarter recently.
Right.
So I guess to answer your question, you can't play football worried about getting hurt.
Right.
That's that's not the nature of the game. You go out there and you play. I mean, because you could say, why'd you have the left tackle in there? Well, because the second string left tackle is not as good as the first string left tackle. Why'd you have this guy and why'd you have that guy in? I mean, it's not like the end of an NBA game where you put the five dudes at the end of the bench in. Both coaches acknowledge it and they both put in their scrubs, and and then so. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think Quinn has said he should have taken him out. I don't know how much of that he believes or how much he's doing that to appease all the people who are screaming at him that he should have taken him out. It's unfortunate that Daniels got hurt. It looked like it was career-ending, season-ending, not career-ending, season-ending. It might not even be that, the dislocation on his non-throwing arm, but still, it makes for good library talk. Should he have pulled him or not?
See, I think you leave him in. And I think it goes back to what you just said. You can't play football worried about injury. Okay. And besides that, when it's time for the direct deposit to hit, Jaden Daniels is not going to want, 3/4 of his money. He's going to want all of his money. Okay. And so, as such, I think you're a football player. If you're healthy, you go out and you play football. And you can't say, okay, well, I'm going to take him out so that he doesn't get hurt, because you don't give him the chance to make that great comeback. Like you said with the Broncos. Okay. What if Sean Payton had said, hey, Bo Nix, this is over. I'm putting the backup in,
Yeah.
They robbed themselves of one of the great moments of the season. And the paying customers get robbed of a thrilling comeback. So, that's his job. His job is to play. And so if he's healthy enough to play, he's got to be on the field playing. And you can't, everybody can play. I remember Mike Ditka used to always call it after the fact Jack. Whenever we would question him when he was the Saints head coach, and we was like, "Hey, you're an after the fact Jack." Okay, so you can play after the fact Jack, and say, "Okay, well, you should have taken him out, but you didn't know he was going to get hurt." You got him out there trying to win a game or make it as close as you possibly can. So I don't give Quinn any flack about that. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Try to win the game.
Yeah. And before we put a bow on Seattle, Washington, get what I just did there? From Seattle, Washington, or parts nearby, Holmes times 5 tells us it's Pike Place Market. So
Pike
you
Place
had
Market.
Pikes Peak, and I had Pike Street. But Holmes times 5, family shout out, is Pike Place Market. So now we
Pike
got
Place Market. Okay, one other thing about Seattle.
Yeah.
They're about to get a whole lot better, because let me tell you something. Rashid Shaheed is not fast. He's sudden. Okay? He is, I would take him in a foot race against probably anybody in the league besides Tariq Hill. Okay? That dude is fast. Okay? And last year, with Clint Kubiak as the Saints offensive coordinator, first couple of weeks, when everybody was healthy, he terrorized the league for a couple of weeks. Okay, then everybody got hurt, everything. Seattle's offensive coordinator is this year? Clint Kubiak.
Same. Nice.
he said, go get me Shaheed at the deadline. So now with Shaheed and Jackson Smith and Jigba, who might be the best receiver in the NFL right now, man, Darnold is about to have a field day now because Shaheed, if he catches it in open space, forget about it. You're not catching him. So Seattle got a whole lot better at the deadline.
Yeah, I agree. And also while we're talking about the trade, Stan, Jeff said let's play this game called What's the Meaning? And what's the meaning of the Steelers beating the Colts, and then the Colts trade for a cornerback Sauce Gardner from the Jets and give up 2 first-rounders and A.D. Mitchell, who was a second-rounder in 2024. What's that tell you about both sides?
They're going all in. The Colts are going all in. They're trying to get it done this year. And, you know, they've got a really, really good team. Apparently they identified corner as a weakness. And so they're like, hey, we'll worry about the future when it gets here. But right now, we're going to try to win a Super Bowl. We see an opening in the AFC. Chiefs are down. You know, Buffalo's not dominant. You know, I mean, I think the Colts and New England and Denver are right in the mix with anybody else in the AFC. And so I think the Colts, they're going all in, pushing the chips in the middle of the table. Let's go get one of the top 2 or 3 corners in the NFL, put him out there. We can play on an island. We can blitz if we need to with Sauce out there. So I think it's very clear what Indiana's saying, Indianapolis.
I think it's also they're all in on Daniel Jones, not just this season, but for the future, because giving up 2 first-round picks are what you use to leverage to get a quarterback. And so they're saying we don't need one. They believe they got the real deal in Jones, and this is not a one-season outlier. And the Jets are going nowhere, so they lose a good corner, but they pick up 2 first-round picks, which then they can use for leverage to draft the quarterback when they find the quarterback they think is a franchise quarterback, because they don't have that quarterback right now. Justin Fields was thought to be one coming out of Ohio State, but it doesn't look like he is.
So here's the other thing. They made that deal for Quinnen Williams, too. They sent Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. And so now, if my math is correct, the Jets have 2 first-rounders next year and then 3 first-rounders in 2027. That 2027 class, you got Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State probably coming out. You got Ryan Williams from Alabama probably coming out. You got some edge rushers, quite a few edge rushers who are going to be coming out. I mean, so the Jets, I saw somebody said today that the Jets made a statement about Aaron Glenn today that they're choosing him moving forward with these draft picks over their current roster, because with Quinnen Williams and with Sauce Gardner, that defense was still very good. Okay, but they're going all in with Aaron Glenn, believing that they can build him a winner with those picks.
Okay, what's the meaning of the Bills beating the Chiefs again in the regular season?
Doesn't mean much. I mean, look, it means a lot for Kansas City because it really reduced their margin for error. I mean, if the playoffs started right now, the Chiefs are not in, which is unfathomable if you think about it, with the success that they've had recently.
But there'd be a lot of disappointed season ticket holders because they'd be like, wow, hey, man, I bought season tickets and we only get 8 games.
You know what I mean. So they know
what you mean.
Yeah, they're out of playoff position right now. So for Buffalo, it's like, okay, look, it's a good regular season win, but you got a lot of those against Kansas City. You know, for Buffalo, it's almost like we're talking about with the Dodgers. It's almost like Buffalo has to win a Super Bowl. They have to win a Super Bowl. I mean, they've done everything else. You got to go win a Super Bowl now. And as long as they have Josh Allen, and as long as they put a competent team around him, they're going to be expected to win. I mean, this is not going away. They're going to be expected every year. Hey, is this the year that you win a Super Bowl? And Lord knows, over the years, those folks in Buffalo have been through a lot with Super Bowls. You know, losing 4 in a row. But this team has to win a Super Bowl at some point with Josh Allen.
And what we've entered into the mix, which hasn't been in the mix before when it's been Buffalo and Kansas City, is the aforementioned Colts, because now they look like they are for real, and they've got to deal with them in the AFC.
Yeah, and going back to Sauce Gardner, I mean, what a lockdown corner allows you to do in the NFL. It's why Deion Sanders is in the Hall of Fame. It's why Darrelle Reeves is in the Hall of Fame. A lockdown corner allows you to do so many things defensively. First of all, if he's really, really good, like a Deion or Darrelle Reeves, he can take the other team's number one offensive threat among receivers out of the game, okay, and cut off half of the field. I mean, teams wouldn't throw at Deion Sanders because it could turn into a touchdown the other way very quickly. So what that allows you to do in terms of blitzing and other stuff that you can do with your other 10 guys, because that side of the field is covered. I heard a story that Deion Sanders would walk into Cowboys defensive meetings. He'd be like, okay, who we playing, 49ers? Okay, I got Jerry Rice. You guys figure out the rest. And that's what the Sauce Gardner allows you to do. So I think, the Colts, man, I've been bullish on the Colts because of Jonathan Taylor. Because they can run the ball and they don't give up a lot of points. And I've been bullish on Denver as well. Denver kind of scares me. But I think they're learning how to win. But the Colts seem to have figured out how to win. Now this weekend notwithstanding, because they just turned the ball over too many times. But I think the Colts have quickly gotten acclimated to winning, and it'll be interesting to see, can they maintain that in December and January when it really matters.
Speaking of the Bills, what does it mean that the Patriots are 7-2, Stan?
I think it means that Drake May is the real deal. Did you see him? He went to the Celtics game. I think it was last night. And I mean, he was more popular than any of the Celtics. And then they cut away to a guy that had a shirt on that said, "I love Drake May." So he's quickly. I'm not saying they're forgetting about their ex, okay? But I'm saying they got a new lover in New England, okay? And Drake May is the real deal, man. I really, really like him, and I think Vrabel's on a mission to prove that he's a better coach than his ex thought in Tennessee.
Yeah, they traded down for whoever they hired in Tennessee. I mean, we said last week we couldn't pick Shane Steichen out of a lineup. I can't even tell you who the Tennessee coach is.
Yeah, I think they missed with. They had Tannehill for a minute. They missed with Will Levis. You know what I mean? They had quarterback problems there, and I think that kind of did. But they were still they always had a tough defense. And they always they played hard, and they were just kind of 8-8, 9-8. You know what I mean? And in the AFC, that just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah, the Drake May haters need to go to the back of the room and stay silent until further notice. And Buffalo doesn't just have Kansas City to worry about anymore.
Right. You got Denver, Colts, and New England.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What else are we looking for?
Lions lost to the Vikings. Lions lost to the Vikings in Detroit, and the Vikings lost 4 in a row at the Ford. I found that surprising when I looked at the score of that one and then watched the highlights.
Just when I was ready to trust the Lions, just when I was ready to say, okay, Detroit, I mean, look, it may come right back down to Philly in the NFC again.
Yeah, Philly had to buy, so they're just watching everything. I mean, yeah, Minnesota dominated the line of scrimmage. That's a place that had been bread and butter for Detroit. Here, I got a deep end of the pool stat for you here.
Okay, what do you got?
17 games last season. Lions, 25 3-and-outs.
Okay.
Through 8 games this season, they've already got 20 3-and-outs. So something's not clicking offensively, despite having Goff back there. He was putting up pretty good numbers, but he was sacked 5 times by Minnesota, and it's not the purple people eaters anymore. So that offensive line must be busted up for Detroit because they've been too good in the past to be a sieve now.
Yeah, and what I don't understand about like, you got Montgomery and you got Gibbs. You should have a whole bunch of 3-and-outs. You know what I mean? Those guys should be able to get you a few yards. I'm running behind Penei Sewell, and I'm picking up I'm picking up those yards. I'm not gonna have a lot of 3-and-outs now. I didn't see that game. I don't know a lot about what happened there, but it makes it hard to trust the Lions because if Brian Flores could dial it up, on defense, no question about that. Okay. But if you're having problems with Minnesota at the line of scrimmage, you're going to have problems with Philly at the line of scrimmage again.
Yeah.
Because, Philly's built inside out. So I don't I don't know. I mean, look, maybe it's just, one bad game. I mean, it's hard to stay consistent over 17 weeks. No questioning Detroit's talent because they have, especially on offense. I really like their talent on offense, but that defense has been shaky at times. And, we'll see. It's looking like things are trending Philly's way again because they may have gotten their offensive issues figured out. Saquon Barkley is having a really, really quiet season. Have you heard anything about Saquon Barkley all season?
Except when they played the Giants the second time.
Right. Okay. So he's too good to not take over at some point. And maybe he takes over when they need him most. In December, it's getting cold and, don't throw the ball as much. You get in a close game, you're trying to work the clock, so we'll see. But I mean, I think a lot of moderately good teams in the NFC. But now I think adding Rashid Shaheed and the way Darnold was playing, I think Seattle may be the biggest challenger to Philly now.
Ooh, Seattle entering the conversation. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, look, they don't make a lot of mistakes, except for Reek Woolen can get a little out of hand sometimes, taunting and that kind of stuff. But they don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't beat themselves, and so I like a team like that. Like Mike McDonald seems like he's got the whole program together. Kubiak running the offense. I'm a big fan of his. So look, I'm really bullish on Seattle. Seattle's my Denver of the NFC, but I trust them more than I trust the Broncos right now.
I think a good game for Charles Barkley on the NBA Inside the NBA show where he does who's he play for,
yeah,
or who's he or she report for.
Yeah.
I think it would be if they put NFL coaches' faces up there and if he could say, who's he coach for? Speaking of college football stand. So the college football playoff rankings, I think they're coming out today, or as the LSU governor likes to call them, the BCS rankings.
Boy.
I know Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. That's a lock. Win, place, and show.
Okay.
After that, though, it's going to be interesting. Wait, I got a trivia. They came out right there. Is that them, or is that the?
I'm looking to see right now.
Yeah, I got a trivia question for you, Stan.
Okay.
Oldest college in Louisiana celebrating 200 years this year.
I'm going to take a wild guess. And I'm going to go Centenary.
God, you're good. You're so good.
It? Is that it?
That is it. And you know who the offensive coordinator of the football team is? If you get this, I'm just leaving. The offensive coordinator is Hal Mumme. Remember
I was going
him?
To say it. I think I knew. Former Kentucky coach Hal Mumme. I was going to say it.
He's the guy who had the air raid.
Yeah.
He was the guy who threw it 60 times a day. And at 73 plus years old, he's the oldest full-time coach / coordinator in college football. He's 2 weeks older than
Pete Carroll. Oh, college football.
Pete Carroll's in the NFL.
College football.
6 rings.
Why am I drawing a blank here? Saban?
Bill Belichick.
Belichick. Saban's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So no, you brought up Hal Mummy. Okay, he already has a spot in Louisiana lore. Okay, because he was a part of the Bluegrass Miracle. Okay, LSU. I forget what year it was, but LSU's playing Kentucky, and Kentucky has already essentially won the game. Okay, to the point where they have already thrown the Gatorade on Hal Mummy. Okay.
I
And
remember
LSU
this.
completes this crazy pass to Devery Henderson. He takes it in for a touchdown. And all of a sudden, it's like Hal Mummy's all wet and a loser now. And so he's already a part of the Louisiana lore.
I remember
with
that.
play
Yeah.
on the wrong side of that play.
So Jeff thought we should talk about college football. We should talk about these two schools, Texas and Miami.
All right.
So Texas had to beat Vanderbilt, which in and of itself is fun to say because that you've never had to say that before. And they did. Arch Manning looked Heisman-esque, but if you use his name and Heisman winner this season in the same sentence, your Stan and Neil membership will be canceled.
It will be canceled. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Texas is 7-2, 4-1 in conference, but they've got to beat Georgia. They've got Georgia coming up at Georgia, and then they got a home game against Texas A&M. Now, conventional thinking would be they need to win out and finish with 2 losses to make the group of 12, right? Because no one with 3 losses is making the top 12. But you don't listen, there's some Billy Bob dude in that CFP room would be pushing for a 3-loss Longhorn team to make it, right?
Not Billy Bob.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, we're getting the Longhorns in.
Okay. Hey, look, it's a big brand. It's a big brand. I mean, look, they're going to get the Notre Dame treatment too. You know what I mean? If there's a way to get them in, they're going to find a way to get them in. But that Texas A&M game, that could be it for them, because they're definitely going to be. I would think they're going to be. It's at Texas A&M.
It's at Texas A&M.
Yeah, they're going to be underdogs for that game. And
no, excuse me. No, it's at Georgia, home against A&M.
Okay, still that's a rough 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a rough 2 weeks. But look, hey, maybe it just took Arch a minute to get settled in, and maybe he becomes the guy who people thought, generational talent, greatest quarterback since Tebow. I mean, maybe he does it over the last couple of weeks and writes the storybook tale, gets him into the playoff and makes a run. But I saw a story that a lot of these coaches who were being mentioned for these open jobs with the big buyouts, right? They all lost. Okay. Vanderbilt, Clark Lee, a lot of talk about him getting one of those SEC jobs, Florida or LSU or Penn State, in Big Ten. They lost. Brent Key, Georgia Tech, a lot of talk about him getting one of those jobs. They lost to NC State.
Yep.
Unranked NC State. First loss of the season for Georgia Tech. Who else? John Sumrall at Tulane. He was starting to come up, especially for that LSU job, the job he's done with the Green Wave. They lost. Sarkisian, there was all the talk with Sarkisian maybe going to the NFL. His agent tried to downplay that, but Texas got it together and won. So, we're in the distraction part of the season too, where all this coaching talk. We talked about this on our last show. If the players start feeling like, hey man, coach is looking out for himself, I got to do the same thing, then that can really have some bad effects on the locker room.
I think the first CFP poll just came out.
All right.
We showed you the AP poll and the college football poll on your screen, but let's see. Maybe they're just announcing it right now. ESPN college football playoff top 25. Yeah, they're just announcing it right now. All right.
How about
I got
this?
a question for
Pete Thamel reporting this. We got more breaking news. LSU promoting Verge Osbury to athletic director. They removed the interim title.
Well, they got the governor to sign off on it, and
Former LSU linebacker. He's been connected to the university for more than 30 years. Apparently, everybody in Baton Rouge loves this dude. He bleeds purple and gold. And so they decided, hey, he's going to be the guy. He said last week he has full authority to hire the Tigers' next football coach. Now, I don't know if the governor has signed off on this, but he says he does.
Now, you being an LSU fan, do you have anybody that is a favorite in your mind to coach your Tigers?
No, you don't know at this point. You know what I mean? Because I heard it may have been Saban. I heard somebody breaking it down. We're like, look, it's not just an X's and O's job anymore. It's how do you manage the portal? How do you deal with NIL? You know, the job has really changed. And so do you need a Jimbo Fisher or a Brian Kelly or Nick Saban type, or do you need somebody who it's almost like if you look at technology today, okay, you could be the greatest operator of blockbuster video stores in the world, and it wouldn't matter right now because nobody's renting videos. Everybody's downloading things. So there's a whole new way of doing things that brings you success now that didn't matter in the past. You know, look, players have always been paid under the table, okay? But now you actually have to manage this budget and find supplemental NIL money for your big stars, you know, above board, okay? And that's a whole different skill set than you know, drawing up a screenplay to beat the pass rush. So I don't know. I don't know who the guys are who could do that best. But that seems like managing the portal and managing NIL seems like the most critical skills that you need right now. Apparently, Cignetti's really good at it.
Yeah.
Because Indiana's come from out of nowhere the last couple of years and become a legitimate national title contender. So you get a guy like that. Now, did anybody else know that about him before Indiana hired him?
I think they, and I actually think that they went to Paul Christ first, and I think he turned it down, or something happened where he didn't take that job. And then I think Cignetti was at James Madison, wasn't he?
Yeah,
and that's where they brought him, and he brought a bunch of his guys. Yeah, he's he's coach of the year without a doubt. You know, and there's some good ones. The guy at Texas A&M's done a great job too, and then Ryan Day just continues to do things at Ohio State. Ohio State's like the Colts. I never see them on TV, but they may be the best team out there.
I mean, look, they're so good. They're almost like a given. Like yeah, there's like let's not even talk about them. They're so good. Yeah. It doesn't even matter to talk about them. You know,
they're kind of like Alabama was under Saban.
Yeah, we'll see you in the playoff, and then you know.
Yeah. Ohio State, Indiana. I mean, that's where we're going to separate. You know, we're going to see what kind of separation there is, because they're headed to a conference title game, which the conference title games are you know, they need to go, but they're too big of money makers. So they just, you know, now we got 12 teams and all that, but that's a whole nother thing. Okay, do you know where there's one blockbuster left in the United States?
It's in Oregon.
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, I watched the documentary about it. Have you seen the documentary?
Yeah, it was great.
It was fantastic. Was that Netflix or was that HBO? Where was it? You remember?
I think it was Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. If you're watching this and you want to see a great documentary, it's the last blockbuster in the country. Is it still there?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure you can find anything. You know,
I drove through Bend, Oregon on my way to what's the golf course? Bandon Dunes.
Okay, well then you must have been lost, because Bend, Oregon's in Central Oregon, and Bandon Dunes is along the coast in Southern Oregon.
No, but I forget where I flew into, but I had like a 2.5 hour drive. If I flew into Portland, would that make sense?
Oh, you know where you flew into? You flew into Medford, I bet.
Might have been. I don't remember where I flew into. I just remember driving through Bend. Because apparently there's a really good golf course in Bend too, but I don't know which one. I don't know the name of it.
How's the golf game, by the way?
You know, I haven't been playing as much. I used to play a lot during the week. When we worked at night, I played a lot during the week. So now I'm a weekend golfer. And so I played, I just went to the range this past Saturday. The week before that I played, and it wasn't good. It was not good.
Back to the football.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one guess. What team is leading the ACC right now?
Georgia Tech's got to be the head fake. Because Georgia Tech's the obvious answer, but it's not. I know you well enough to know that's not the answer. Is it SMU?
It's Virginia.
Virginia. Oh, Virginia. Yeah. I was just looking at that the other day too, and
they're 5-0, 8-1 overall. Last 6 wins they've gotten in the final minute. They're like Tampa Bay of college football. Remember Tony Elliott's their head coach. Remember he was the offensive coordinator at Clemson.
At Clemson, yeah.
He left, and now Clemson is.
Yeah.
So, and then
did you hear Dabo Swinney? Dabo Swinney said he's going back to trusting his instincts. And that's going to fix everything at Clemson. He said, look, I got good instincts. I'm going to trust my instincts, and we're going to fix everything. And I saw somebody say, this is either going to be really, really good or spectacularly bad. There's no in between there. But anyway, you were telling me about Virginia.
Hey, Anders J said he wants a shout out. That's a shout out for you, Anders J. So the ACC, there's Virginia's 5-0. 5 teams have 1 loss. Then there's Miami, who 3 weeks ago was in the title game. Everybody's like, it's going to be Ohio State and Miami. Now they're 10. They've got 2 losses. They've got to win out and hope that they can get an at-large. Because what I'm looking at is they have a very slim chance of playing for the conference title. Prior to their loss at SMU last weekend, they were 85% to be in the top 12. Now they're 15%.
So I am 15%. Banning 3 words that no one can use until they prove it. Canes are back. I don't want to hear it. Don't want it. Every year, Canes are back. The Canes are back. And this year, I really believed it. I really believed it. The way they started, I said, okay, maybe the Canes are back. Canes are not back.
No,
Canes are not back.
They got Carson Beck, and he keeps throwing it to the wrong team. And the 2 games they lost, Louisville and SMU, they were double-digit favorites. They got my guy, former Oregon coach Mario Cristobal, and it's just not. I saw the camouflage uniforms last week. It's like a sprinter who starts out fast and then pulls his hammy before he gets to the finish line.
Yeah,
they're just the same thing happened last year. They I think it was Syracuse or somebody that they lost to that they had no business losing too late. Yeah, they're not back. They're not back. They need to suit Michael Irvin up instead of having him on the sidelines cheerleading.
He's excitable. He's excitable at those Canes games.
Hey, speaking of golf, so Auburn, we were talking about buyouts. Auburn paid what was, that when Auburn bought out Gus Malzahn, it was for $21.4 million.
Okay. Yep.
That was a record then.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That was in 2020. 5 years later. Smash. So they give Malzahn in 2020. They give him $21.5 million. Then less than 2 seasons after that, they pay Brian Harsin $15 million to go away, and now they're going to pay Hugh Freeze $15 million to go golf. Okay, and
that's my dream in life. That's my dream in life.
Did you read about Hugh Freeze and his golf? Like I guess at the club you put in your scores because that establishes your handicap.
Your handicap, right? Yeah.
Nobody has got more scores in the pile than Hugh Freeze. It's like, hey man, this guy wants to golf more than he wants to coach.
I heard that Brian Kelly has a lot of scores in Baton Rouge too.
Oh,
yeah. So look, hey, golf can be that way, man. It can dominate your thinking. Sometimes, if you're really hooked on it, it can dominate your thinking and make you spend more time doing it than you probably need to. Sounds like that was the case with Hugh Freeze. But what? This look, college sports have now become professional, and I think that's why we're seeing these coaching situations, because it's no longer, hey, I'm a leader of men, I'm going to teach these young men life lessons while football is just incidental to the life lesson. No, it's professional sports now because everybody's getting paid. Not saying that they shouldn't get paid, because I believe once it became the multi-billion-dollar business that it is now, you can't keep sending the kids out there and they're not getting paid. Everybody else is making millions off of it. Okay, so I don't have a problem. As a matter of fact, I was a strong advocate forever for players getting paid. Okay, but now it's professional sports, and I think that's why we're seeing these buyouts with these coaches, because like everybody thinks we should win the national championship, and we're going to keep firing coaches and getting transfer quarterbacks until we win the national championship. And the problem is there's only one national championship per year. And so, look, you look at a situation like Penn State, okay? Maybe they find a coach that will do better than James Franklin and they will win a national championship, okay? But, paying the kind of money they paid to get rid of a coach who was routinely winning 10 games, and look, I know after a while, it drives you crazy that you can't beat Michigan or you can't beat Ohio State. Okay, it drives people crazy. It makes them do things that might be irrational, like firing him. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But I think the professionalization of college football in particular is what's leading to all these buyouts, because this money is just it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not your grandpa's college football, it's not your dad's college football, and it's barely recognizable to you and me, but it's the way the times are going, and they're changing, and you got to change with them. And to your point, if there's money to be handed out, it seems like those guys that are working to make that money for you should get a share.
Yeah, I mean, the Gipper ain't nothing but a movie character now.
Auntie Al, by the way, said we should get Ed Reed and Reggie 8720 on the show. And Auntie Al also said, I'm going to learn to golf. Somebody left golf clubs at their house. Auntie Al we're big on you for always chatting it up with us. And what golf is to Stan, dogs are to me.
Okay, so first thing, Auntie Al, you're going to learn to play golf. Okay, you're going to learn to play golf, because you don't football, you don't basketball, you don't baseball, you play football, you play basketball, you play golf, you don't golf. It's just a golfer thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm not going to dog, I'm going to walk the dogs.
Okay. Are you saying it's time to go walk the dogs now?
I'm saying it's time to go walk the dogs before it gets too dark out. I got coyotes in the neighborhood.
All right.
3 small dogs. I don't want to have to go kung fu on the coyotes.
Boy, I tell you what, that would be a story. Neil fighting the coyotes to protect the dogs. There
you go.
That'd be quite an episode.
My dogs.
That one. Hey, I
got more dog.
I got Clippers tonight too. Taking on OKC. Second of back-to-backs. OKC, and Kawhi's out with a knee. Bradley Beal's out with a back. So, James Harden might need 60.
Well, I mean, the Blazers last night lost to 5 guys wearing Laker uniforms that they picked up at the YMCA. I mean, it was,
and it's funny because I was talking about that game on the FanDuel, on the show that I do on FanDuel Sports Countdown Live, 5:30 Eastern, cross promotion. But I was talking about that game, and I'm like, okay, so LeBron's out, Austin Reeves is out, Doncic is out. It's one of those situations where, like you say in gambling, they're begging you to take Portland, right?
Oh, yeah. And Portland was given 10, and I was like, whoa. And the Blazers are big favorites. But like Michael Holton, who I work with in those games, he said it's easier for a coach and players to play the guys they've scouted, no matter how much better those guys are than the guys that they're bringing in. First of all, if you're in the NBA, it means you're one of the 300, 350 best basketball players on the planet.
Yep.
So we can make fun of the bottom 5 or the bottom 5. The bottom 5 could still kick our ass.
Oh, at 100%.
Yeah. And so, you don't have a scouting report on Nick Smith Jr.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so and he goes for 25. So it's
on a two-way contract. You know what I mean? Got his chance and made the most of it.
Yeah, good for him. But we've got Portland, because I'm playing.
Hey, no, you're part of the team.
We got Oklahoma City. We got Oklahoma City tomorrow night. So
okay. Yeah. So maybe the Clippers will soften them up for you. But
do that. Do that.
We'll see. I mean, look, anything can happen. You line up your guys, they line up their guys, and you throw the ball up and see what happens.
Hey, one headline too before we leave.
All right.
It said Ja Morant frustrated with Memphis. Okay.
I think Memphis is frustrated with Ja Morant too.
Thank you. That's the way the headline should have read. Memphis frustrated with Ja Morant.
I don't know if that situation is going to be tenable much longer.
I don't think so either. But as good as he is or has been, all of a sudden you gotta think, hey man, is it worth it all?
Well, he has to decide if he wants to be a very talented player or if he wants to be a franchise cornerstone, because those are two very different things. Like a talented player can do things on the court that can win you games, but a franchise cornerstone can do things on and off the court that can win you championships. And so he has to make that decision. Am I happy being a really talented player in the NBA, or do I want to be a franchise cornerstone that has a direct effect on my franchise winning? And that's a decision he has to make. And he's still a relatively young man, and so he's still got time. But I don't know that he's going to be able to do that in Memphis, because they're building up quite a bit of scar tissue now.
Well put. Final thought: Coyote Kung Fu, the band, will be opening for Leonard Skinner at the Hollywood Bowl later this year.
Is there really Coyote Kung Fu? That's a band?
Well, James McMilner, who's watching the show, said Coyote Kung Fu sounds like a great band name. So
you looked it up?
No, so I'm starting the band. I'm on lead vocals.
Okay, all right. See, there you go again, man. You had me all excited, like the three-peat story from earlier. Okay, all right, man. All right. I think we covered it.
We'll see you Friday. Thanks for watching. Where's Coach D?
See you Friday. Thanks, everybody.
Turn it up to.
Let's go.
How's it? Do you know what time it is?
Let's go.
The Stan and Neil Show. 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 With Stan. Stan, he's the man. And who's Stan's biggest fan? Well,
it's Neil.
And Neil, he keeps it real. And that's why Neil's the deal. Stan and Neil back together again, spreading the love with all their old friends.
Let's go.
Stan and Neil back together for you. Keeping it cool, 'cause Colts are raw. The Stan and Neil Show. 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 The Stan and Neil Show.
Yeah. All right, let me hear it all back. See what we got so far.
So shout out to Coach D for the jingle, the Stan and Neil jingle.